Men, listen closely. What I'm about to tell you will feel backward, even dangerous, but it works every single time. If you really want to stand out in her mind, if you want to shake the entire dynamic to its core, if you want to see who she really is beneath the surface, you stop reaching out, not to play games, not to manipulate, but to reveal the truth that has been hiding under all the noise. Most guys cling to contact, believing the more they text, the more she'll care. But in reality, your silence is the earthquake she never saw coming. It disrupts her emotional landscape. It breaks her pattern. It takes away the comfort she secretly depended on, the predictable check-ins, the good morning messages, the attention she never had to earn. And suddenly, you're gone. Your presence evaporates from her daily world. And that absence, it triggers something powerful inside her. Curiosity, uncertainty, confusion. She starts asking herself, why hasn't he texted? Is he done with me? Did I misread the whole situation? Questions she never had to face before. Questions that won't be answered by your words, but by her reactions. Some women will panic. Some will pretend they're unbothered. Some will stalk your social media like a detective. And yes, some will disappear for good. But here's the truth. Those ones were never meant for you anyway. This isn't about punishing her. It's about clarity. Your silence becomes a mirror that reflects her true intentions, her investment, her emotional maturity, her sincerity. Most men never discover this because they're afraid. Afraid to let go. Afraid that silence means losing her forever. But persistence doesn't always mean progress. In fact, sometimes the only way to understand her is to stop giving her the version of you that required no effort from her at all. So, stop chasing, watch, wait. Let her actions, not her words, reveal who she really is. Because in the end, your silence will speak louder than any message you ever could. And what she does next will tell you everything. Now, let's go deeper. Let's break down the psychological signs, the ones she can't hide, that reveal exactly what happens in her mind the moment you go quiet. Sign 1, she panics and reaches out. When you suddenly stop contacting a woman, especially one who has grown used to your attention, her immediate emotional reaction might be panic. Women are extremely perceptive when it comes to behavioral changes. If you've been consistent, showing up in her inbox every day, and then suddenly silence, she feels that shift instantly. It leaves a gap in her routine, a void in her emotional rhythm. And into that silence rushes every question she's been avoiding. Did something happen? Did I say something wrong? Has he lost interest? Is he pulling away from me? Uncertainty is deeply uncomfortable for the female mind, especially when she's used to having control over the emotional dynamic, and your silence takes that control away. That's when the fear of losing you kicks in. And fear makes people act impulsively. She might text, call, or suddenly message you for no obvious reason. Something simple like, "Hey, everything okay?" or "Haven't heard from you." It sounds caring, but beneath the surface, it's her trying to regain stability to pull you back into the rhythm she relied on. Here's the truth she won't admit. Many women value your attention far more than they ever show. They won't reveal how much you meant to them until the moment your presence disappears. Imagine you've been talking to her daily for weeks. Then you pull back. 2 days pass and suddenly she texts, "Hey, I was just checking in. You good?" Her words say, "concern." Her emotions say, "Where did he go?" Her mind says, "Did I lose him?" This is where most men fail. They rush to explain themselves. They respond to, or fast. They hand the power right back. But the key is composure. You don't punish her. You don't play cold games. You simply respond with calm neutrality. Enough to acknowledge, but not enough to erase the impact of your silence. Because silence is not absence. Silence is strategy. Silence reveals truth. Sign 2, she pretends. She doesn't care. Now, let's talk about one of the most deceptive reactions you'll see when you go quiet. She starts acting like she doesn't care. On the surface, it looks like nothing changed. She seems unbothered, calm, detached, almost like she barely noticed you stopped reaching out. But here's the twist. That "I don't care" act, it's not strength, it's defense. Women hate feeling emotionally exposed, especially if they think showing their feelings first will make them look weak, needy, or desperate. So, Instead of admitting that your silence bothers her, she switches into performance mode. She'll tell herself, and maybe even her friends, that your silence doesn't affect her at all. She might stop responding to your last message. She might go quiet on purpose, or she starts posting like she's living her best life without you. Night outs, selfies, glow-up quotes, maybe even a caption like "protecting my peace" or "unbothered." But here's the dark psychology behind it. People who genuinely don't care don't spend energy proving it. The harder she tries to project indifference, the more obvious it is that your absence has shaken her. She's not just living, she's performing. Your silence has disrupted her comfort zone. The attention, the validation, the warm little ego boost she got from you gone. She won't admit there's a void now, but it's there. Now, this is where a lot of men completely sabotage themselves. She pulls back. She acts cold. She posts like her life is amazing without you. And what do guys do? They panic. They interpret her act as "she's over me." They scramble to fix it. They reinitiate contact. They chase harder just to reassure themselves she still cares. That is the worst move you can make, because the second you chase, you confirm that her little performance works. She learns, if I pull away and pretend I don't care, he comes running. I control the dynamic. Instead, you need to do the opposite. Let her pretend. Let her act. Let her put on the "I'm fine without you" mask. You hold your ground. You don't break your boundaries. You don't rush in every time she acts distant. Over time, that mask starts to crack. Because underneath the performance, she's wondering, why isn't he reacting? Why isn't he chasing me like other guys do? Why isn't he trying to fix this? And that's when something powerful happens. She's forced to confront her real feelings. The truth is simple. Her indifference is a costume. Your consistency with your boundaries is what exposes it. If you stay strong, if you refuse to be manipulated by her emotional theatrics, she eventually has to drop the act and show what's really going on in her mind. Sign 3, she starts stalking you online. Now, let's move into the modern battlefield, social media. When you stop contacting a woman, one of the first places she'll turn to is your online presence. Because if she can't get answers directly from you, she'll try to piece them together from what you post. Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, even LinkedIn sometimes. You'd be surprised. Social media has become the window into someone's life. And if she's no longer hearing from you, she's not just going to shrug and walk away. She'll check your stories, scroll through your posts, peek at your comments, watch who's interacting with you. This isn't just curiosity. This is her way of staying connected to you without having to break her own silence. She doesn't want to be the one who caves first. So instead of reaching out, she sits behind the screen like a quiet observer. Women are extremely detail-oriented. She'll notice things you don't even think about. Who liked your photo? Who you replied to? Who you were with in that group pic? What time you posted? What your caption could really mean? She might be the first one to view your story, but she won't react. No likes, no comments, no DM. Why? Because reacting would expose her. It would be her admitting, "I still care what you're doing." So instead, she stays in the shadows. She quietly gathers information. She wants to know, is he happy without me? Is he talking to someone else? Did he replace me? Is he really as unbothered as he seems? It's a mix of emotions, a desire to feel connected, insecurity about losing you, fear of being replaced, and a bruised ego from realizing you're not chasing her like other men. Now, here's where most guys accidentally give away all their power. When they realize she might be watching, they start oversharing. Posting too much, trying to look extra happy, showing off, posting stories just to get her attention. But that only gives her exactly what she wants: information and reassurance on her terms. The better strategy: maintain a balanced, grounded, slightly mysterious presence. You don't disappear completely. You're not running or hiding, but you're not performing for her either. You post naturally. You live your life. You don't make your profile a highlight reel designed to make her see what she's missing. Because when you stay calm and unpredictable, you do something incredibly powerful. You keep her wondering. She doesn't know if you've moved on. She doesn't know what you're really feeling. She doesn't know how much access she still has to you emotionally. Her online stalking becomes proof that your silence is affecting her. Your job is simple. Don't feed the obsession. Don't make your life into a show for her approval. Let her watch from the sidelines and question what's happening behind the scenes she can't see. Sign 4, she tests you with mixed signals. This next one is where things get really twisted. When you stop contacting a woman, don't be surprised if she suddenly starts sending you mixed signals. One day she likes your post, or she replies to your story with a little emoji, or she sends you a random casual, "Hey stranger." You think, okay, she's warming up again. But then the next day, she's cold, distant, doesn't respond, leaves you on red, completely disengaged. Hot one minute, ice cold the next. You might tell yourself, she's confused, she's busy, she doesn't know what she wants. But here's what's really going on. It's intentional. She's testing you. Mixed signals are one of the most common psychological tools used to keep someone emotionally hooked. She knows inconsistency creates confusion, and confusion keeps you guessing. She wants to know, is he still attached? Will he chase if I give him a little attention? Does he still care enough to react when I pull away? So she gives you breadcrumbs, just enough to keep hope alive, just enough to keep you emotionally invested. A like here, a comment there, a random text after days of silence. Then she withdraws again, and men fall for this trap constantly. You see a sign of warmth and you jump at it. You respond instantly. You overinterpret every word. You get excited thinking, she's coming back, this is progress. Then she suddenly goes cold and you start chasing harder, trying to figure out what went wrong. And without realizing it, you've handed her all your power. You become reactive. She becomes the center of your emotional world again, and the dynamic shifts back to her comfort zone. Here's what you need to understand. Mixed signals are not a sign of genuine interest. They're a sign of emotional immaturity, uncertainty, or control. A woman who truly values you will not constantly confuse you. She will be clear, direct, consistent. So, what do you do when she starts playing hot and cold? You detach. You stop trying to decode every word, every emoji, every pause. You stop letting her inconsistency dictate your mood. When she's warm, you don't overattach. When she's cold, you don't collapse into panic or self-doubt. You respond from a place of calm, not neediness. You set a standard for yourself. If someone wants to be in my life, they show up clearly. I don't chase confusion. Men need to stop living for the little crumbs of her approval, because as long as you're hooked on those crumbs, she knows she still has control over your emotions. And that's the game. Her test isn't just about you. It's about her own insecurities and her need to feel in control. When you remain steady, composed, and refuse to dance for her mixed signals, you send a message she can't ignore. I'm not a toy for emotional games. If you're in, be in. If you're out, stay out. But I won't orbit you in confusion. That kind of emotional strength, women can't help but respect it, even if they never admit it out loud. Sign 5, she questions her decision. Now, let's peel back one of the most powerful psychological effects of your silence, because this one hits her deeper than she'll ever admit. When you stop contacting a woman, she doesn't just wonder about you, she starts questioning herself. At first, she might have felt confident. Maybe she rejected you. Maybe she pulled away. Maybe she thought you'd always be there no matter how she treated you. But when you stop chasing, when you stop offering the validation she quietly depended on, her confidence cracks. Suddenly, she's not so sure she made the right decision. She begins replaying old conversations, moments, memories, your tone, your behavior. She starts wondering, was he better than I realized? Did I misjudge him? Why isn't he chasing me like other guys would? Did I lose someone valuable? What if he finds someone better? These thoughts begin circling in her mind like a storm she can't shut off. Here's why. Women are extremely influenced by the validation they receive. Your consistent attention created a psychological safety net for her, a sense of emotional security. But when you step back, that safety net disappears. And now she's forced to confront something uncomfortable. Without your attention, she doesn't feel as powerful as she thought. This doubt grows based on how you handle the silence. If you stay confident, focused, and grounded, her doubt intensifies. If you chase or seek reassurance, you confirm her original belief that she could walk away without consequence. Your silence isn't punishment, it is clarity. It gives her space to realize the truth, which she never would have recognized if you kept chasing. When you pull back, you allow her to sit with her own decisions and ask herself whether she let go of someone she shouldn't have. And trust me, when that doubt creeps in, she feels it. Sign 6. She tries to make you jealous. Now, let's get into one of the most obvious yet misunderstood reactions, because this one can make men lose all their emotional strength if they're not careful. When you stop contacting a woman, one of the first tactics she might use is to try to make you jealous. Suddenly, she's posting pictures with guys she barely talks to. She's showing off her social life like she's starring in her own movie. She's out every weekend smiling a little too hard, laughing a little too loudly, living her best life, or at least pretending to. But listen closely. This isn't about her moving on. It's about her wanting a reaction from you. Your silence unsettles her. Before, she always knew where she stood with you. She had access to your emotions. She had your attention. She knew you were invested. Now she's not so sure, so she turns to jealousy as a psychological tool, a test to see if you still care. If she can make you react even a little, she'll feel re-entered, safe, validated, in control again. This is not love. This is ego. Imagine this scenario. She posts a picture with a guy at a party. Arm around her, flirty caption, maybe even a heart emoji. At first glance, it looks like she's moved on. But look deeper. Is she truly interested in that guy? Or is she hoping you will see it? Because genuine happiness doesn't need to be advertised, but insecurity does. Here's where men make the fatal mistake. They react. They message her. They confront her. They show jealousy. Or worse, they post their own "I'm doing better than you" content to compete. And the moment you do that, you lose the power you gained through your silence. You show her, "I'm still emotionally attached. Your actions still control me. The right move, stay calm, stay centered, stay detached." The strongest response is no response. Because when she tries to provoke you and realizes you're unfazed, it forces her to ask herself, and that's when the jealousy game backfires on her. She expected control. She expected validation. She expected proof that she still mattered to you, but instead, she's left with silence. And that silence becomes louder than anything you could have said. Sign 7. She moves on too quickly. Now, here's a reaction that confuses men more than almost anything else. When you stop contacting her, she suddenly moves on super fast. A new guy appears out of nowhere. She starts going on dates immediately. She's posting like her life has never been better. She acts like the loss of your presence didn't shake her at all. But here's the psychological truth. Moving on too quickly is usually a sign of emotional avoidance, not emotional clarity. Women who struggle with uncomfortable emotions often jump into replacement relationships to distract themselves from what they don't want to feel. It's not about you. It's not even about the new guy. It's about filling a void she doesn't want to sit with.